What's up, Amazon sellers? This February, I've got some things to work on for my Amazon UK business. If you want to get some ideas what you too can be doing in your Amazon UK business, then watch this video. Right, if you're new to this channel, my name is Thomas Parkinson and I've been selling on Amazon now for the last 5 years. And I'm a 7-figure Amazon seller in the UK and USA. In this video today, I'm going to be sharing with you, number one, a recap of my plans for January in the UK. Number two, I'm going to be talking about the top things that I'm going to be doing for my Amazon UK business this February. And finally, number three, I'm going to share some personal advice with you, things to think about that are going to help you as well. So let's get started. Number one, let's talk about the recap of my plans for January. Now, first things first, as I mentioned, if you watch our previous videos, is that we had a target of 256,000 in sales. Now, as of making this video right now, we're running about 162,000 for the January, and that's in sales, and we're right now on the 4th week of January. Now, with that being said, we're definitely not going to be hitting that original target in the month of January for 2023. Now, one of the main reasons behind this is quite simply our target setting. We went way too high, way too aggressive on it, and actually we're reevaluating where we're taking the business, maybe looking at more of a kind of operational, reducing down the growth of it and actually making it more profitable per unit sold and focusing on that area. So it's something that we're definitely seeing. Now, in addition to that, I mentioned we're also working on improving our monthly reporting and how we do that. To give you an update around that situation, we're still trying to, focus on resolving, understanding, and minimizing the variances between what our FTK or our reporting cost of goods are, and particularly around what our actual true usage is. We really want to minimize that gap. Why? Because we're going to understand where there are any losses happening in the business or stock loss, and any other problems we're getting. But really, that's the understanding of the difference between true usage of stock and what we expect to use from tools such as like STK or Inventory Labs. Now, finally, what we've also done is revised our fraud policy, and that's about looking at prevention, minimization, detection, and management of fraud as it happens. And this is a result of our clients' experiences within the Seller Academy, whereby 2 of our clients detected that actually they had fraud on their cards, and they are Amex cards they were using. Now, quite simply, we think Amex is fine, but with that experience, what we wanted to do is to review our policy. We've added extra information about 2-factor authentication and saving passwords, and just really want to make sure that we're minimizing the risk to our business in having purchasing managers and sharing credit card details. I will share more with you on that in coming videos. Quick question for you guys: how were your January sales? Did you smash it? Did you achieve over target? Were you under target? What was January like for you? Let me know in the comments down below. I'm interested to see what my viewers did as well. Okay, so this leads me nicely onto my second chapter, top things I'm going to do for my Amazon UK business this February. Number one, setting targets for my Amazon UK business. Now, what I'm going to say is we obviously are not going to achieve the target we originally set for January, so we do need to pull down our February figures that we were looking at previously, but we still think we can be quite optimistic. So where are we going to be? Well, we'll probably get around about 190, 200 for January, perhaps, where we are looking at, but for February, we're probably going to go for about the 200 figure. That's what we're looking at in our numbers. So I think we are. We've had some good purchasing weeks this month, so we hope we can do that as well. Now, when we're looking at discussing these targets with my team, I was a bit hesitant about setting, some of these targets because of our January performance, but we are also optimistic that we can achieve them. Why? Because again, there's good spending weeks. That's going to be an important part of the business. The second thing on my list to do in February is to clear out aging stock. We've been pretty aggressive this in January, I won't lie. We've cleared out so much. I think we had over 90 days, we probably had about 2,600 units of stock, and now we've got that down to sub 1,000, but still we want to get that below 500. So that's going to be something that we're going to be doing. In addition to that, making sure that we maintain that going forward. But that does obviously have an impact in our GP over the long run. So certainly something to consider, but we do want to get them sold, pretty much by about mid-February, because that will just bring the profitability back up again. But it's still part of our sales plan and part of why maybe I think we'll do it right in February and have extra sales, because we're going to clear out some of the old stock along with the good stock. Now, the third one I'm going to be looking at in February is developing our standard operating procedure, or SOP, or our processes, our documentation for our repricing. Now, I've been talking about this for a while. Why? Because we've been working on this for 4 months, I think it is, so quite a long time. If you want to know, I've got a repricing analyst working in my business, and we have set up our repricing. We've really started to do some analysis into it and really get into the detail, and we're trying to get her to document, all the little nitty-gritty bits. So we're running pretty well. We can spot any issues that are coming up on it, like products that have maybe crashed, or there's been problems, or maybe sold for way below what we thought they'd be. We have the reporting in place now. The next thing we want to do is build out that documentation for the systems about why we made the decisions we made, what we've learned, and obviously when we see problems, then we can update them as well. Now, to give a good example, let's say, for example, we're selling an iPhone right now, which is 100 days old, and that would be part of our aging stocks. What we'll do is we'll record the decision-making process of what we're going to do with that iPhone in that situation over 100 days and how that would work within the repricing. And that would all be part of our SOP process, which will really support us in growing our business and just standardizing it. And also looking at when things go wrong, how do we improve that process and how do we improve the performance of the business overall. Now, obviously, I'll share more with you in the coming months, but that's pretty much what we're looking to do in February. Okay, so today I'm talking about my plans for January, February, or what happened in January and what's going on in February. Now, the one thing I'd say is if you follow my journey, I have a team of people who do this, and they are amazing. They do an amazing amount of work for my business. And what do? They do sourcing, they do purchasing, they do my administration. We've even got repricing analysts, and also we've got my ops manager who's doing all the overseeing both Amazon businesses. What do? I'm very much an owner. And the one thing I really understand is that for myself, when I started this whole business, I wasn't going to leave my job to build another job. What I wanted to do is I wanted to leave my job to build a business. I wasn't a business operator, I was a business owner, and that I could enjoy the life behind that the business is going to make me. It's been challenging, it's been hard, but I needed good people behind me to support me. And how did I get started? Building a simple, scalable virtual business, which allows me to travel. And right now I'm actually in the Philippines. Well, it all started with hiring my first virtual assistant. Now, my first virtual assistant was doing sourcing for my business. Why? Because it's the most time-consuming task. It's something which obviously I can add value, but I do think obviously once I can start getting money generated in the business, it will allow the business to grow and also take the pressure off me to keep having to find. Now, the one thing to say, if you're interested in hiring a virtual assistant, look no further than the Fast Track FBA VA Academy. This is a service I created whereby we find, hire, and train and support you with a VA for 3 months in your business. And if you're not happy at any point, we'll do retraining with your VA. And if you're still not happy, you can get replacements. If your VA quits, you can get replacements as part of the package. And even after all of that, if you're still not happy, we back it all up with our 3-month money back guarantee. It's going to support you and just make it a no-brainer. You get all my SOPs, everything we've done. I've hired over 550 VAs for over 300 clients. Why? Because works. If you're interested, check out the Fast Track FBA VA Academy down below. Now, this leads me nice on to my third chapter, my personal advice. Now, what I would say is that January has actually been quite a challenging month for us this year. Number one, the targets, that's a real shame. I always want to come out of the blocks going fast, but we've actually had a bit of challenges with that. Why? Because we set too high targets. And then number two is the fact that we've been clearing down old stock. So what can I recommend for you? Well, number one, revise your targets. The one thing which I'll say is you can write a budget, it's absolutely fine, but come back to your budgets, always reevaluate them, look at them and say, is my business really running to what my budget is? Or do I need to change my business, or do I need to change my budgets? Now, if you can't change your business, then change your budgets and see where you're going to be. Something so important for us, hopefully you're seeing we're doing that as something that we're doing to really help us understand what does the change in the business environment look like. Now, number two, the other thing we're doing is clearing down that old stock. This is a horrible thing, absolutely horrible. Why? Well, there's a couple of lines, a couple of products, especially over the Q4 period, and also when we changed the repricing rules and did the change setup, is that we just weren't managing it right. We had too much old dead stock, and one of the good metrics you can look at is go to your Seller Central, inventory planning, and then obviously look at days in inventory. For us, ideally, we want to keep that one metric between 50 and 70 days. That means we're holding between 50 and 70 days worth of stock as what Amazon calculates in Amazon's FBA warehouses. Now, I've seen people with over 365 days worth of stock, and what does that mean? It means that they're holding over a year's worth of stock in Amazon's warehouses. Generally, that means dead stock is not going to make you any money. So for us, it's been a real hard time, but we have cleared down that stock. We've started to clear it down aggressively. We've gone from 2,600 down now to sub 1,000, and we will get it down to below 500 units by the end of this month. It has hit our bottom line, it's hit the GP, but it's freed up cash that we can reinvest back into the business. Now for you, I'd really recommend looking at that metric and also looking at your planning in regards to your budgets, and that's just going to really help you out. Now, what I will say is after going through my plans for February, you might want to learn about growing your business with virtual assistants in 2023. So what I'll do is I'll drop a video around here called How Virtual Assistants Can Grow Your Amazon Business. Check that out. Now, hopefully you've liked this video. If you have, give me a big thumbs up. And hey, if you want to see more, make sure you hit the subscribe button. And do share this to someone if you think they need to see it as well. But for myself, Thomas Parkinson, and Fast Track FBA, thank you very much.